Mr. Speaker, will you please call the House to order?
The bill is passed.
We'd like to get a budget that represents the interests of the people who are standing here with me now.
To be part of the struggle to achieve a better society for
We
all.
should be working together as the budget gets developed.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Assembly Update. My name is Assemblyman Felix Ortiz. I represent the 51st Assembly District in Brooklyn, which covers the areas and the communities of Red Hook, Sunset Park, Pasloo, Borough Park, Bay Ridge, and Sunset Park. So it's a pleasure for me to have here today the New York State School Social Worker Association President, Peg Barrett, who is going to be talking to us about why we need social workers in our school. Why it's so important that our parents have a knowledge and being aware of why social workers are so important for the mental health of our children. It is important also to identify with all these variables that are indicators that is happening, and it's been happening in the city of New York, about kids carrying knives to school, about kids carrying guns to school, about the bully situation, the social media, all this peer pressure that our children are continue to facing when probably when we was in school, we didn't have those issues. So today I have an expert, I have someone who really have the passion and the dedication for many, many years on working on identifying some of those issues in the school setting. So with that, with no more further ado, I would like to present to you Peg, who is going to be talking to us and bringing awareness to our parents and our children and our educators, why it's so important to really reach out to our social workers who really are there to do God's work. Thank you for being here with us today. So,
thank you very much, Senator
So just
Ortiz.
tell me, what are you doing here in Albany today?
Well, I'm here in
It's
Albany
very cold
today.
in Albany today.
I'm from Buffalo, New York, so it's not that cold. It's like a heat wave here. Thank you so much.
Now I know why it's so cold, because you brought it to us.
The reason I'm here today is on behalf of the New York State School Social Work Association. We are licensed, clinically trained social workers advocating that every single school in New York State has a social worker who is accessible to our students. Our students have very serious mental health needs, as you mentioned, with cyberbullying, with all of the school violence, with the social media concerns that we have. It is imperative that we begin to provide prevention and intervention supports to our students in the schools. So we are here fighting for that today.
Let me just ask you, because we hear that on the news most of the time, with not only here on the news, but it's happening in our own community. And I mentioned before that a young girl at the age of 15, 16 left behind a message on her Facebook probably half an hour or 15 minutes before she left her house in my district. And she was on the 53rd Street subway station on 4th Avenue in Sunset Park. And unfortunately is that somebody, a good Samaritan, was in place to rescue her. But unfortunately, her intention was to really jump into the subway station and get killed. And she left that message behind in her Facebook. But we as a parent or grandparent sometimes don't have access to their Facebook or what they talk to their friends or what message they're sending out on in. What is your message for parents when it's come down to really testing or Facebook or Instagram? How they should handle it or talk to their children? I probably would put it that way. How should they be talking more to their children, and motivating their children to talk to their parents about what are the signals of something bothered their children?
One of my beliefs is that parents need to be empowered to discipline, and discipline really means to teach their children that they need to communicate with them, that parents need to be empowered to ask questions about their friends, inquire about their Facebook, about limiting their time on social media, about having their account available to them at any time, keeping that social media out of the bedroom, which I know they say, well, my child might get angry. It's okay that your child gets angry. It's okay that your child gets disappointed. As long as they get angry and disappointed to you and not on Facebook and Twitter and get upset and angry and enraged on social media. Those are things that you bring to me. I'm your mom. I'm your mom, and I will help you resolve them. And if you're not happy, that's okay as well. I will teach you the tools and the skills to cope with being unhappy, but I am in charge, and so I want to help parents to be empowered and understand that they are in charge of raising their children, and it's really teaching and educating their children to limit that.
So that is a very interesting message, because more and more often, especially now, is every day or every hour is a new app come out. You know, kids doesn't have nothing better to do to create apps, and this comes from kids, and they become to be created with their own ways. And I hear you very clearly, and I think I completely agree with you that when a child really get upset because you're doing something right as a parent or as a grandparent, that means that you have touched something that they should not be doing.
Yes.
And that is very important. So the fact of the matter that they get upset is a great thing. And because that being upset for 5 or 10 minutes or an hour, that's going to go away unless you put it in cold water. They put the child in cold water and they let it go. You know, that's what my grandma used to do with us. Cold water. Now, are you okay now? I said, yes, I'm fine. I'm doing great. So I'm glad that you say that. Now, it's another issue in a school. Another issue in the school is I remember some of the school doesn't have gym. Sometimes some of them have gym. Some of them have to do gym in the school, in the cafeteria, for example. It's another trend about suicidal among teenagers, and some of them could be lack of financial, lack of motivation, lack of self-esteem. And some of them has to do also with the issue of child obesity. What will be your message to parents when a child feel with low esteem, no motivation, and how we can help them to overcome?
Well, I think that the reason children have low self-esteem is because they don't have any independent tasks that they're responsible for, and so they never have any sense of gratification. So if I have no jobs at home, I don't have any, I'm not responsible to do the dishes, and I'm not responsible to make my bed every day or to learn how to cook a meal, I never feel satisfaction because everything is done for me. And so if we hold children accountable and give them jobs and responsibilities, and then we validate that they have done them and done them well because we've taught them, that internalizes self-esteem. I feel good about myself because I have accomplishments. And I say, okay, the same with grades in school. You know, if you're having some problems in school, you know, we will get social workers or we will address your mental health needs, but you will study and you will do your homework and you will be held accountable for what you do in school. Or I take your phone away, or I limit your access to your friends. So you feel good based upon the fact that you have accomplished something, and that builds your self-esteem. Having a task, having a responsibility, joining a club and following through with the club. It doesn't have to be a sport, but it has to be something that makes you feel accomplished personally as a child. Right down to being 3 years old. You can pick up your toys, and when you pick up your toys, Mommy's going to hold you in and tell you what a good boy you are and what a good job you did. But you will pick up your toys, or you will sit in timeout for 5 minutes.
Let me go back to something that you say, and I see this happening often. You have a child, got home from school, go to the room, and you're expecting the child to be studying and is playing with his friends on social media, what have you. And sometimes if you go there to the room and I say, hey, Joe, come over here. Let me check your text message, you Instagram or whatever all it's called. I'm not familiar with much of them, Facebook or what have you. What kind of message you're sending out? Sometimes they will feel that we are interfering in their privacy these days. So how can we address privacy among our own kids when we also trying to give them responsibility and keep them accountable, but and they feel like we violating their privacy. How can parents play with that? Or
Well,
not play? How can parents really
there's two
deal with
points I
it?
want to make. I'm a mom of 2 grown children, love them both dearly, and I said I'm the mom, which stood for mean old mom. Therefore, I make the rules and I want to enforce the rules. So I'm not always going to make you happy, and I'm not always going to allow you to make decisions. There are decisions at an appropriate age level that you can make. Maybe I'm not going to fight you about what you want to wear to school today, but I will make a decision that it's, 5 below 0, you're going to wear a coat. Okay? It's a pick your battle type of thing. I pay for social media, therefore I'm in charge of social media. So that means that when you can pay for it, then you can determine whether or not you have access to it for longer periods of time. And there are consequences and there are privileges. Social media is a privilege, and the privilege is only instilled in you when you have met your responsibility as a child. So that means you spend 20 minutes on homework or 10 minutes on homework or whatever it is that you're responsible for, and the consequences of that is you get to have social media. So it's really taking responsibility for yourself as an individual child, and then with that done, then you are entitled to what you feel you should have.
Well, I think this has been a very informative, and I hope that people and the parents in my district will hear this loud and clear. I think it's very important to help and to bring awareness to our parents, and also to have a sense of responsibility for our children. That their children should be our children and grandchildren. Should be accountable and should be responsible, and in order for them to earn the trust. It's about trust, and it's not that we violating their privacy. It's just that we want them to do what is right, and that they would not be thinking in the long run that their life has been in danger. I would like to thank you very much for being here with us, and I hope that we can continue to find my piece of legislation in Albany to mandate that social workers are critical in every school throughout the state of New York.
Thank you very much. One last thing.
Go ahead.
Talk to your children. Talk to them often about their friends, about themselves, about how they feel, about how school is going, and listen. And listen to what they say to you.
I think that's the key.
That's the key.
Listen and listen.
And listen.
So you got it clear. That's the message. The message is we have to listen to our children. We must not just listen, but we just also find out who their friends are. We just need to be engaged with our family. We need to be engaged with the family of our children's friends as well. And that will help us to really have a better understanding on how we can deal with our children, especially with the bullies, with the social media. I think it's very important that we do not, as a parent and grandparent, give up that our children or our grandchildren are running our life. We're still running their life, they're still living with us, and we have to make sure that we continue to love them, care about them, and if you have any information or you need information about how to help your children, don't forget to call my office at 718-492-6334. And again, I would like to thank Peg Barrett from the New York State School Social Work Association for being here with us, and as well as we'd like to thank Evelyn Bautista-Miller from being here earlier, talking about the importances and the role of the social worker in our school. Hasta luego. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time. God bless you.